Well, in our ongoing quest to stay relevant, because when you think roundtable, you think relevant. You definitely don't think us catching up to a series of television halfway through the second season, like we did in Severance. Templar and I made maybe an unconscious choice to stay on top of The Last of Us Season 2. Because if you remember from Roundtable Season... What would that have been? 2? Season 1? Season 2 when we talked about it?
Season 2, I guess. Did we talk about The Last of Us?
Yeah, we talked about it in broad strokes. I think we talked about it after the season ended. Because we didn't do like a episode by episode breakdown. No. But here we are. Welcome to the Roundtables episode something. That over there is Templar with his shiny new spanking camera. Templar, when you look at Cordyceps that are growing in a pipe, like you saw in this episode, what's the first thing you thought of when you looked at that pipe?
I figured just leave it be and it'll probably be fine. Like someone else's problem. I don't know. I think there's more important things I could probably be doing with my time. Let me go on patrol. Let me go
let me go hike the Alpine Pass.
In a grocery store. Let me go make out with someone at like the dance or whatever.
Why not?
I'm sure the pipe will be fine.
It'll be fine. Like there's nothing story related that's going to happen with that. They busted that open and it was like, oh, that's not roots. That's actual fungus. You guys are screwed in that town, huh? Good luck, Jackson Hole or wherever you are in Wyoming. Welcome to season. We're just going to get into it then. So we're going to break down episode 1, which was called, what was it? Future Days? Yeah, Future Days. I guess we could give the blow-by-blow breakdown of this entire episode. I don't necessarily know that that's our show. I think let's just start kind of from your vantage point. What were your overall thoughts about this one?
I don't know. Like it's fine. It was fine. I didn't hate it. Like there was nothing in it that. Well, maybe I won't say nothing, and I'll let you go because you sounded in our like pre-discussion before. I think you might have more to say on some of that than I do. It was fine. It was an episode of a TV show. It didn't like get me particularly hooked to watch the rest of it. It reminded me of some of season 1, which I generally enjoyed season 1. I don't recall what my review was when we did our episode, but I liked season 1. I thought it was solid. I had a good time with it. This was okay. If the show is planning to be around Joel and Ellie, this was not a great start for that.
No.
Maybe it's not planning on being as much around them, and then maybe it'll be okay. But this episode was mostly kind of a shrug to me. Like it's just kind of setting up, okay, it's 5 years later. Here are the new relationship dynamics. Here's where people are at. This is where things are at with the town, whatever. And that's kind of it. So I guess I was whelmed.
you were 5 out of 10 whelmed. That's okay. I can get with that. My overall thoughts on this entire episode were I'm not going to say I was like disappointed. I don't even necessarily know that I was whelmed. I did find myself, I got to the end of it and maybe I was in a bad headspace already, but I was like, I don't like any of these characters. And I've played The Last of Us. And I don't like any of them. I don't mind Bella Ramsey. And I don't mind Pedro Pascal. But I don't like any of these characters. I think the acting on this episode was terrible. Just... Ellie, she's what, 19? And and Bella Ramsey is older than 19. I think she's like probably 22, 23, right around there, if I had to guess. Let's just see how old Bella Ramsey is. Bella Ramsey. I'm just going to type it right into the internet and see what happens. She is 21. Yeah. Okay, so she was right around 19, 20 when this was getting filmed. And so she's a 19-year-old. why do they have her acting like a spoiled 12-year-old? Why? Why is she out in the middle of the winter screaming like a 12-year-old? Screaming, I got bit, I got bit, I got bit. Like, that's... Maybe I'm missing something, but that's not how she was portrayed in the games. She's an ass kicker in the games. She can lay down the law. She yearns for violence, but like everyone around her is like, doesn't want to give her violence. And so she's like always fighting the men who are trying to protect her. I get that. Like, I get the subtext, but like the way that they just kind of hand wave a lot of that away and then just make her like a spoiled baby was, I don't know. Like, and maybe that's because Ashley, like I listened to Ashley Johnson on Critical Role. Like, I know she has range-ish. Like, she's got range. And she does very well with Ellie. Like, I think Ashley Johnson is the perfect Ellie. But like, so there's that. And then Joel, I felt like, do you remember the very first thing I said when we talked about Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power? And I think the first thing I said was, they killed my boy. Look what they did to my boy. They killed my boy. Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like they did with Joel in this. Like, they killed my boy. Because Joel, I understand he's got levels. He's got a whole lot going on. He literally murked like a whole town full of fireflies. I get that. Like, that's pretty evil.
Yeah.
And like, we ultimately know what happens to Joel. Like, he dies. Like, we get that. But spoiler, if you haven't played the games, Joel dies. Like, there's just let's lay it out there. But they made him like a whiny 12-year-old as well. I don't know. I'm rambling. Let's pick apart a couple of the pieces in this then. So you have the initial kind of beginning of the episode, which was 5 years in the past, and we flash. There's my girl, Ashley Johnson, and then they flash to the town where Abby is, and Abby doesn't say a whole lot in the games, but now she says stuff in the TV show, which. Whatever. Like, I understand. There's a bunch of people up in arms on the internet. Like, oh, there she is, right there. They like, oh, well, in the games at least there was like a lot left unsaid and yada yada yada. But like, you can't do that in TV because you have to kind of go more towards people who haven't played games. And like, you and I have played games and we know how to read characters. That's fine. Mm-hmm. And she's placing something on some fireflies, and she's like, they're gonna kill Joel. Which is just setting up the big bag protagonist. I get that. I completely understand all that. And then we get Joel lying to Ellie. And then all of a sudden, like, whiplash, we're 5 years in the future. So that kind of opening scene in Wyoming, like, how did that all feel to you? Did you have any thoughts from that?
Of them, like, of the town? Yeah.
Of all of it, yeah.
It's just establishing the new... This is the life, and I think they're trying to set it up as being maybe a little mundane, like this sort of... I kept thinking throughout the episode, like, do you all forget that you live in the apocalypse? Like, you understand you have bigger concerns than all of these things, right? Like, again, like, to your point, yeah, I can stand Ellie in this episode, and it's like, I hope she moves on from this, whatever this is. Yeah. And grows up a little bit, because like, it doesn't come across as bratty 19-year-old. You're right. It comes across as like bratty 12 or 14-year-old, like what she was in the first season. Like, she's supposed to be 14 in that. Like, if she would have been acting like this, then that would have made more sense. But now I think they're trying to set up that it's like everyone has kind of gotten comfortable. Like, they've kind of carved out this sort of slice of like maybe kind of what life was like before all this happened. So people are kind of getting settled in. They're a little comfortable. They're not like maybe on edge like they used to be. So they're maybe getting complacent, and they're starting to get worried about like drama and sort of silly stuff that it's like, I don't know if you can afford to be concerned about these types of things given your current situation. It doesn't, like, you still live in the end of the world. Like, it's not just because you've carved out like this nice little area for yourself, it doesn't mean that there's no threats anymore. So that was my vibe. Joel, I mean, I didn't love Joel in this, but like, I think I kind of get that they're trying to show that he's dealing with, because I mean he killed like 15 people or something at the end of the first season to save her, and like did it kind of selfishly, like kind of took the decision away from her. And I mean she's 14, that's young to make a decision about whether you want to sacrifice yourself to try to save the world, but like he made the decision for her, didn't give her a chance to make it, killed like 15 people. And then now also she doesn't seem to really want anything to do with him. And it's like, well, it's like, don't you have any idea what I did to try to save you, essentially, right? And she doesn't, because he lied to her and she knows he lied. She just doesn't know what happened.
How do you feel? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just, but she knows that he lied about something. So I think that's kind of hanging over it, that she knows there's something, and she knows the way it went down was not what he said. So I think there's some part of that she's holding against him as well.
Yeah. How do you feel about that weird tension between the two of them?
I mean, if you want to do like a teenager is like being a teenager and whatever, and like they're having some issues with their parent figure, that's fine, whatever. It's well-trod territory. I just like you, I don't really like how they executed it in this episode. And I don't like the choices they made in regards to her, that she would just become this kind of like sort of brat. Like, I don't know. I like how they're going about it. I just didn't love. Not, that's fine. There might be tension. Like, again, it's not, I think they've gotten away from, we're just trying to survive every day. Things have kind of become a little mundane. It's been 5 years. And so they're probably settling into some sort of normal, and you get some like more family drama and whatever. And it's like, okay, sure. I'm like trying to read all this into it though. Like, cause it doesn't really give a ton of, like, I'm just assuming it's that like she's bitter about the fact that he lied to her, or that something like that. Like, I don't know what the issue is, because they don't really haven't got into yet what it is that she's like mad about or is going on there. So like, we won't really know. But not knowing any of that and seeing how she's acting and how he's acting, it's not great. Like, I don't want a whole season of this with the two of them. No.
I agree. I want to move on a little bit then. So we get this weird, okay, the therapy thing. It's funny that the BetterHelp. So this is, by the way, this is the video from New Rockstars. If you haven't, it's long. New Rockstars do some really good work on just this guy, but his whole team do some really good work on just breaking things down. They are particularly passionate about the Lord of the Rings. I mean, they're probably passionate about that too, but about The Last of Us. And so go and watch this video. I'll link it in the show notes. You can go watch it as well. Catherine O'Hara is awesome. Like, I think she's a fantastic actress. And in my opinion, the 3 or 4 minutes that she is on screen are probably the best 3 or 4 minutes of the entire episode. She has an ability to, again, she's doing the outward monologuing thing that I think everybody hates, but you need it. And then, she kind of plays like the slightly tipsy, slightly high therapist that she's very good at that. But none of that is in the games. And that's fine. Like, I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to split season or the first and second game, with some stuff that's not there. Like the kid, Benji, he's not in any of the games. The dance was in the games, so they're kind of trying to split some of this stuff. I get it. I get what they're trying to do. I don't think it's executed well. Catherine O'Hara, how do you feel about Joel being in therapy?
It's fine. I mean, I don't mind that he's sort of pursuing, like, he's trying to figure things out and deal with some of his issues. It's okay. And she was a good choice, I think, for it. Like, she, as you say, she is good at that kind of stuff. I don't remember from the first season who her husband is. So, like, who Joel...
He's not in it.
Oh, okay. So it's just like, that's just like a mystery that's being presented of...
Well, sort of, because in the games, Eugene is around, and Eugene dies of old age. In this, the subtext is, and this is one of the things I didn't like, the subtext is Joel had to put him down. He had probably something that was, he either got bit or something. That's I don't know if that's actually true, but that's the subtext. The subtext is he was going to die and Joel had to kill him.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So I don't know about any of that. So I wasn't sure when she was talking about like, this was my husband. I mean, just for the record, I've played the first game, but I've never finished the first game, and I've never played the second game. So like, I have some knowledge from the amount of the first game I played, but that's it. So I didn't know what that was referencing. But yeah, I agree that she's very good in the scene. The fact that he's getting therapy is fine. And I guess it's something to work him towards. I would have rather like him and Ellie actually talked rather than him be going to therapy. Though, like, because they don't have almost any interaction at all in the entire episode. Mm-mm. I would have much rather them had, even if it was like some sort of awkward interaction, something rather than him going to therapy for it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it goes back to the mundanity of this entire kind of town. Like, I get it. Like 5 years on, their normal day is patrolling, and like their stress relief is either going to therapy or shooting clickers from afar, which I think is pretty dope, right? Like, I'd love to take a high-powered rifle out and just like be aiming at clickers 100 yards down. That's freaking cool. But there she is right there. They're right on cue. Ellie's right there shooting clickers. But I don't know, the whole thing with Joel going to therapy, I think it's going to be a cop-out for a plot device. And this is me being kind of negative, but I think it's just going to be a cop-out plot device where 3 or 4 episodes in, he and Ellie are going to like reconcile because of some revelation that happens inside of therapy. And you know what? Whatever. Fine. Like, I think there's a better way of doing it. I think that very last scene where Ellie is walking by with the guitar, or when Joel is on the porch playing the guitar and Ellie's walking by, which is in the games, but isn't until way later in episode or in the second game. You know, I think there's something to be said there. I don't know. I hated 19-year-old, and maybe this is because I have kids that are 18 and 20, almost 21, but like, none of my kids locked themselves in their room and were playing old Nirvana. Like, they just weren't. Now, granted, we didn't have a world-ending catastrophe, and my 19-year-old doesn't have tattoo. Well, that's not true. She's got tattoos on her arm. Didn't intentionally chemical burn herself to hide a bite mark and all sorts of stuff. Like, that just didn't happen. Last little bit that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to open the floor to you. But how'd you feel about the dance scene?
I don't know how far down we want to go this route, but like
we want to go we want to go as far.
It's the church, so I feel like I should at least mention it. Like, this have to make the religious guy the like villain there the bigot at the end. Eh? Like, there just has to be something.
Yep.
And it's just like, I understand that trope. I'm just personally kind of tired of the trope of the like religious bigot, ignorant, like villain character. And like, his initial statement, it's like, he was correct. Like, why are you making out and groping each other in the middle of like a family dance? Like, whether it was at a church or whether it's at a community center or whatever, like, he was right to say something to them, but then they have to go the extra mile, and then he has to make his additional comment and like whatever, and then get like beat up or whatever. And it's like, all right, I don't like that trope, and I'm tired. I'm kind of just tired of it, and I didn't love that they felt the need to include it. But I guess because of the orientation of the main character, they felt some need to include like a bigoted Christian as a character in it. I don't know.
Yes, that's all. Thank you for spiking that ball I had set to you. Because if you didn't, I was going to say something along the same lines. That, and it was the scene up to that was fine. Like that is like one of the most iconic scenes of the beginning of the second game. Even down to some of the lines and some of the wording and some of the moves and everything like that. That was like probably the best part of the entire show, was the first 3 or 4 minutes of that dance scene. Then it gets a little out of hand, and Dina is, she's high and she's drunk and all sorts of stuff. And I guess she's bisexual now, or a lesbian now. Like, You never really,
whatever.
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter.
The scene as a whole, it was fine. Like the scene as a whole was fine. It was okay. Like,
yes,
I didn't have an issue with the scene until the very end.
Right, and that's the point, is they had to go that extra step just to kind of like even more demonize the Christian. Oh, he likes Jesus. We're in a church. Although you never even really hear if he likes Jesus. Just he points out that we're in a church. The subtext is there. It did lead to Ellie and Dina making out, which is a thing, and that's going to be a thing for the rest of. And I'm not going to spoil anything if you've not played the second game. It's going to be a thing. Like you just deal with it. They are very quick, even when they're riding up into Irvine or wherever the heck they're riding, up in to go to the shopping mall or to go to the grocery store. Very quick to point out that there's only one other professed lesbian in the town, and Ellie had dated her, and so I wonder if they're going to explore that, like if there's going to be a taboo sort of thing. There's not really in the games. I mean, there kind of is in the game, but that's not. You're doing other stuff in the games, like you're too worried about runners, you know.
Yeah, there are bigger concerns. I'm not that invested that like it. However much they want to investigate that is like, I don't really care. But to me, you're still in the apocalypse, fighting for survival. There are more important things. Like, I'm not too concerned about the sort of relationship drama between the characters in that sense. I mean, I get it's going to be a part of the show. That's fine, but whatever. It's just how they have seemingly decided to somewhat pursue it, that it was a little bit sort of grinds my gears a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. All right, I have pooped on this one enough. Anything else that I'm missing about this episode? Anything you wanted to bring to the table here? Bring to the round table, so to speak?
The grocery store. I mean, in terms of some positives, I thought the grocery store scene was pretty effective. I mean, the character decision making is horrendous, but like, and it's another thing of Ellie. It's like, you might be immune, but this person you're taking with you to do this reckless thing is not immune. So like, I get that you have this, like, maybe not death wish, but because you have immune, you feel like a little more invincible. But like, you're dragging her into this in a way that is not a good thing, like not responsible. It is a big problem. So like, that's a mess. But the scene is effective, like when she falls below and then she has to deal with the kind of more intelligent, like stalking creature. Like, I thought that scene was relatively effective. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that. One
of your cats just killed something.
Yeah, he's knocking stuff off my desk. Yeah, I don't care about the fireflies. Like, nope. I didn't care about the scene at the beginning.
Nope.
It's been long. If I had watched this immediately, like, I guess if I had rewatched season 1, maybe I would be more plugged in, but also none of those characters were there. So I think they're all new characters, right? So it's like, these aren't the people who like survived this massacre. They were just away and then like came back and discovered all this. And it's like, so I don't have any connection to any of these people. And you're just setting them up. Like, you're setting this Abby character up as, okay, so she just wants vengeance against Joel. And it's like, I get that. Like, I get it, but that's not a good start to make her a character I'm assuming we're going to spend a fair bit of time with, that I'm supposed to like or something. Like, I don't know what they want me to feel about her character, but I don't think I feel it. Like, there's nothing there. Yeah, it's tough. I'm trying to think of positives because I don't want to just be incessantly negative about the, I didn't mind some of the stuff of them dealing with like some of the realities of, we keep letting people in. It's like, well, we have to stop letting people in. It's too much. Like, we have to build more stuff. And it made me think of the thing of like, why are the rational people always treated like they're just like a-holes or something? Like, like Joel is being entirely rational when he says like, we can only build so fast. We only have so many supplies. We only have so much stuff we can do. And it's like, you can't let in everyone who wants to come. And he's correct. You can't do that, because eventually it will just sink your ship too. But then he gets treated like he's terrible for saying that or whatever. Yep. And it's like, why do we have to treat characters who say things that are correct and reasonable and like intelligent as being wrong in that way? Like, it doesn't, I don't know, that's a trope that I don't love, and I assume that's foreshadowing maybe for something that's gonna happen, probably because they're gonna let in these fireflies and then there's something that's gonna happen there maybe, or who knows, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. This whole episode was just kind of nothing to me. Like, it was fine. It's setting up the world. It looks like from the video and from like the trailers and that there's going to be like more action heavy stuff forward. Not that I need an action heavy episode to be good. I just hope the characters move from where they are now. And then I hope we get some like more engaging episodes with maybe a little bit of action or something else going on. Because this one just wasn't it for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's also fascinating to me that, not fascinating, it's funny to me that the girl that they picked to be Dina was also Dora the Explorer, which I think is very funny. Sure. It's very funny. I think she's fine. I think she was a highlight of the whole.
Some of the secondary characters are okay. Like, I don't mind her. I don't mind the guy she was dating. Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse.
I don't mind him. He seemed fine. You know, the like Tommy seems good. Like, I don't mind him as a character.
Yeah, Tommy's cool.
His wife is okay, even though she was the one giving Joel a hard time for being reasonable.
Yep.
So, you know, some of the supporting cast is like pretty solid, and I know that the main people can do a good job. Like, I know they're good actors and that they can do more. I just hope that we get out of this space that they're in now.
Yes. Agreed. I think you and I share that sentiment. I don't know. I'm interested I'm going to watch at least a couple of episodes. I'm sure we'll finish the season.
Keep up with it. Keep up with it at least for a while anyway. I mean, if it goes nowhere, then we're not going to stick with it. But
no,
you know, it's one episode. It wasn't great, but it also might just be laying groundwork for a bunch of interesting stuff they are going to do, and you know, I'll give them the opportunity to do that. So that's fine.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we would love to chat with you all in the in this here part of the internet. If you have any comments, questions, you can tell us how wrong we are. I would love you to tell us how wrong we are in the comments or in any one of our shorts. We've had a couple people do that, and it's been very fun. So keep that coming, because we are not egotistical maniacs. We love to be proven wrong. I also just, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm nervous about this one because, like, honestly, I didn't even really like the second game. And I'm going to be like, here's another big spoiler. The first game, I really didn't. It was fine. I'm not like the biggest. All right, this is going to be a hot take. Sony makes great games that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this has come up because you've said in the past you weren't really into Uncharted either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so that's fine. And I mean, I guess we're an odd crowd for this series because you don't really have a lot of it. Like, you've played both games.
Yes.
I played half of, or like a third of the first game, but you didn't really like the games, and I haven't played the games for the most part. So it's
I played them because they were in the zeitgeist, and because particularly with the second game, a part of our community was talking about it at the time, and part of a community that so the Lux Digital Church community, but also a community that I was and still am a part of with some other things. Like, they were talking about it, and so it's like, well, I should probably, like, spoiler, I'm a pastor and pastors need to be able to relate to people, and I was like, I should probably be able to talk to people about this. I don't know that I'll ever get those 20 some odd hours back. In fact, I would never get those 20 some odd hours back of that second game. I really did not like that second game. It was like a solid 6 out of 10 for me.
Well, the second game was pretty divisive, right? I mean, because it won Game of the Year, I think, and like some places were giving it like 10 out of 10s and stuff. But then I think a lot of the fan reaction was not particularly positive. And,
yes,
they didn't. I mean, I think a lot of what we're kind of saying now is that they didn't like a lot of the directions they took Joel and Ellie in,
right.
And So, I mean, maybe the show is going to end up reflecting some of that. I mean, that was always somewhat of a worry, right? That
Yes.
when we watched the first season, and I liked the first season, I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid. But that was always somewhat of the concern with it going forward, is that, like, okay, well, you've covered the material that most people really like now. And so now you're going to be getting into material that a lot of people don't like, or that was at least very divisive.
Yeah.
So, like, how are you going to do that in the show? And they're adding and changing some stuff and whatever. I don't know if that's because they're trying to do 3 seasons.
They are.
They are. Okay. So, so they're extending it out to get more content out of it, then, so be it. But there was always going to be potential for issues just because of how divisive the second game was. And so we'll see. But I guess we're a strange audience for it, just because we don't have the kind of love for it. I mean, for many people, I think even still, the first Last of Us is like one of their favorite games of all time. Yeah. It's still considered like, and I mean, the game itself, I think, is well known to have some issues. Like, it's just the storytelling that I think people really appreciate in the relationship. Mm-hmm. And in that regard, I think people hold it quite highly as one of the best sort of experiences, storytelling in video game experiences. In any time I've heard the arguments of like, are video games art, or like video games versus like books and other media in terms of storytelling, The Last of Us has almost inevitably been one of the things that gets mentioned as an example of excellent storytelling in gaming. And I think that conversation is mostly dead now, thankfully. But The Last of Us is consistently brought up from that. So, like, if we come across as being fairly negative on this, sorry. And, if you think we're wrong, then by all means tell me why you think we're wrong. That's fine. And like, I am interested to see where it goes, because the setup's fine. There's a revenge arc. There's a, idyllic. I mean, I like zombie stuff, and there's always that idyllic. If there's an idyllic like town community going on, something's going to go bad. Things are going to go really bad. Things aren't good in the apocalypse. So
never are.
I'm sure some interesting stuff is going to happen. But this setup, I'm not into it. And maybe you're not supposed to be. I don't know. I don't know what the reviews overall have been for this episode. But
they've been what you'd expect. Wasn't like the game. Didn't like the monologuing. Didn't like this. Or yada yada yada. Some of the characters were bad. How much Walking Dead did you watch?
I think I watched the first 5 seasons.
Oh gosh, I don't even know. How many seasons are there? 9 maybe?
11 or something.
What the heck, really?
There were so many seasons of The Walking Dead. It went on
Walking Dead.
11 or 12 seasons.
American post-apocalyptic. 11 seasons. Goodness gracious. Yeah, season 5 was... I think this is actually where... Go ahead.
Season 5 or 6 or something. I think I stopped watching. They were about to do like a prisoner swap at a hospital or something like that with someone. Oh. So I don't know if that was 5 or 6, but... It was in there somewhere. I tapped out.
I remember. When did Glenn die? Glenn dies. Walking.
Spoilers for The Walking Dead.
For a show that's why Glenn had to die. He dies in. Of course, he appears in all of these. Can I see when he died, please? Let me just go find death.
It says up to season 7, so I'm going to assume he died in season 7.
Bludgeons with the baseball bat. Yeah,
it's flashbacks.
No, that's when I remember seeing that. But the very first time Glenn died, because remember he dies twice. He supposedly dies, but he ends up like crawling underneath like a trash dumpster thing.
Yes, that's right.
When that happened, I think that was season 5. When that happened, I was watching it with my wife. I hit pause, and this is the exact movement I did. I hit pause on the thing. I went, done, and I was like, that was it. I was done. I clapped my hands and I went, done, and I walked away. And I did not watch it until somebody said, "Hey, Glenn's back," and I went, "Oh, cool." And then the very next episode, Negan hit him with a baseball bat and killed him. And that was it. I was done. That was as much as I did of the Walking. And I was a Walking Dead fan. Like, I thought it was great. And then maybe it's because I was living in Atlanta at the time. Like, we could go down to wherever the town was and go there and all sorts of stuff. It was fun. It was great. Anyway, I don't know why I bring up The Walking Dead. Thanks for joining us on the roundtable where we're not going to be talking about The Walking Dead. Hopefully I will be in a better mood. I feel like Templar and I swapped places a little bit. Not that Templar is ever in a bad mood, but I was very critical. Templar was trying to pick me up there. I felt like, thanks, buddy. You're the best. Which is weird. But if you want to tell us how wrong we are, like we said, throw it in the comments, share this with a friend and have them firebomb us. Until then, thanks so much for watching the roundtable.
Also sorry to break up your conclusion here, but also the bracket is still open for our video game franchise bracket is still open. So maybe we can throw a link to in the description of the doodly doos down below.
Yep, in the doodly doos. Yep.
So just before we go out, that's still open, and we'll continue to be doing new rounds. We're in round 2 right now. There's some spicy matchups, so by all means, go and vote if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you for voting. We appreciate it.
My heart is going to break in 6 days, I think it is, or 5 days, whenever we have to record the next one and show that
Mario versus Halo. Yeah,
Mario is going to stomp Halo, and that's that's fine. On a certain level, it's fine, but on other levels, it's just not. So, anyway, go vote for Halo, and until next time, happy Easter. We love you. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.